The water in the bathroom sink sputtered twice before dying completely. Anna Bennett stood frozen, toothbrush in hand, staring at the dry faucet. Her 5-year-old daughter, Lily Rose, called from the bedroom, her voice thick with congestion. "Mama, I'm cold." Anna's stomach twisted. Cold in July meant fever. Fever meant the doctor. The doctor meant money she didn't have. She walked into the tiny bedroom where Lily Rose lay curled under a thin sheet, her brown skin flushed, her forehead burning hot. Anna pressed her palm against her daughter's head and felt her own heart crack a little more. The thermometer on the nightstand read 102 degrees. Too high. Way too high. "I know, baby. I'm going to make it better. But how?" The question screamed through Anna's mind. How, when her bank account showed $14.73? How, when the eviction notice taped to her front door gave her 5 days to pay $2,400 in back rent? How, when her phone buzzed with another text from the electric company threatening disconnection? She grabbed her phone with shaking hands and called her supervisor at the cleaning company. "I need an advance on my paycheck." "You already took an advance last month, Anna? Please. My daughter is sick." "I'm sorry. Company policy." The call ended. Anna sat on the edge of the bed, fighting tears. She couldn't fall apart. Not in front of Lily Rose. Not when she was the only thing standing between her daughter and complete disaster. She made Lily Rose drink water from the gallon jug she kept for emergencies, gave her the last children's fever medicine from the bottle, and got her settled with cartoons on the old tablet. Then she put on her navy blue cleaning uniform and headed to her afternoon shift at Harrison Industries. The 60-story glass building in downtown Seattle always made Anna feel small. She rode the service elevator to the executive floor at 4 p.m., pulling her cleaning cart behind her. Usually the top floor was empty by this time. The executives left early, off to their expensive restaurants and private clubs. But today, a light glowed behind the frosted glass door marked, "Charles Harrison, CO." Anna hesitated. She wasn't supposed to clean the CEO's office when he was working. But her supervisor had been clear. The space needed to be spotless for tomorrow's board meeting. She knocked quietly. No answer. She knocked again louder. Still nothing. Anna bit her lip. She needed this job. Needed every hour, every dollar. She couldn't afford to skip the most important office on the floor. She turned her key in the lock and pushed the door open. The office stretched before her like something from a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay. Sleek furniture in blacks and grays. A massive desk made of dark wood. And behind that desk, Charles Harrison himself, phone pressed to his ear, his back to the door. "I don't care what hoops I have to jump through, Edmund. Find me a solution." His voice carried the kind of authority that came from signing paychecks and crushing competitors. "The will is clear. I need to be married within 48 hours or Richard gets everything." Anna froze. She should leave. Should back out quietly and come back later. But Charles Harrison kept talking and she couldn't move. "I know it's insane. My father built this company over 40 years, and he's going to hand it to my brother because I'm not married? Richard will destroy everything within a year." Pause. "No, there's no one. I don't have time for relationships. I work 80-hour weeks." Another pause, longer this time. "What do you mean, hire someone?" Charles turned slightly and Anna saw his profile. Sharp jaw, dark hair, the kind of handsome that belonged on billboards. "A contract marriage? Edmund, that might work." Anna took a step backward. Her cart bumped the door frame. The sound echoed through the massive office. Charles Harrison spun around. His eyes locked on hers. They were deep blue like the ocean on postcards. For 3 seconds neither of them moved. Then he ended the call. "How long have you been standing there?" I'm sorry. I'm here to clean. I knocked, but you didn't answer, and my supervisor said this office had to be ready for tomorrow, and I..." The words tumbled out too fast. Anna's hands trembled. She'd be fired. She knew it. This was it. The final straw in a day full of disasters. "What's your name?" "Anna. Anna Bennett. I work for Spotless Solutions. The cleaning company you contract with." "How much did you hear?" Anna considered lying. But something in his gaze told her he'd know. "Enough to know you need a wife in 48 hours. Charles Harrison stood up. He was tall, over 6 feet, wearing a charcoal suit that probably cost more than Anna made in 6 months. He walked around the desk slowly, studying her like she was a problem to solve. "Are you married, Anna Bennett?" "No." "Dating anyone seriously?" "No." "Children?" Anna's protective instincts flared. "Yes. A daughter." "Why are you asking me these questions?" Because I think you might be the answer to my problem. He stopped 3 feet away. And I might be the answer to yours. I don't have any problems. You're lying. He gestured at her uniform, at the way she held herself. You're exhausted. Stressed. I'm guessing you're behind on bills. Maybe facing eviction. Am I close? Anna's cheeks burned. That's none of your business. It is if I'm about to make you an offer. Charles crossed his arms. I need a wife for 1 year. It's the only way to meet the terms of my father's will and secure control of this company. In return, I'll pay you $1 million. The number hit Anna like cold water. She actually laughed. This is a joke. It's not. My lawyer is already drawing up the contract. 1 year of pretending to be my wife. Public appearances, living in my home, acting the part for my family and business associates. In exchange, you get $1 million paid in full at the end of the year. I'll also cover all your current debts immediately. Why me? You could hire anyone. Because you were in the right place at the right time. And because you look honest. He tilted his head. Are you honest, Anna? Yes. Then here's my question. If I write you a check right now for $10,000 to cover your immediate expenses, will you seriously consider my offer? Anna thought about Lily Rose burning up with fever at home. About the eviction notice. About the water being shut off. About the electric company's final warning. She thought about pride and dignity, and everything her mother had taught her about accepting charity. Then she looked into Charles Harrison's eyes and saw something unexpected, desperation that matched her own. Yes, she whispered. I'll consider it. Charles pulled out his phone. I'm texting you my personal number. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., meet me at my lawyer's office. The address is in the message. If you decide to accept, we'll sign the papers. If not, keep the $10,000 anyway. Fair? That's too much. It's nothing. He pulled a checkbook from his desk drawer, wrote quickly, and handed her the check. Get your daughter to a doctor tonight. Get your utilities turned back on. Buy groceries. Then think about whether you want to change your life permanently. Anna stared at the check. $10,000. Written in clean, bold numbers. I don't understand why you're doing this. Because I need help, and you need help, and sometimes the universe aligns in strange ways. Charles met her gaze steadily. I won't force you. I won't pressure you. But I am offering you a way out of whatever hole you're in. All you have to do is say yes. Anna folded the check carefully and slipped it into her pocket. Her hands had stopped shaking. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. She turned to leave, pulling her cleaning cart with her. Anna. She looked back. Whatever you decide, I hope your daughter feels better soon. The kindness in his voice nearly broke her. Anna nodded once and walked out of the office, her mind spinning with impossible possibilities. By the time she reached her apartment, she'd already decided. When opportunity knocked this loudly, you didn't close the door. You stepped through and dealt with the consequences later. She cashed the check at a 24-hour check cashing place, took Lily Rose to the emergency clinic, paid the water bill, bought medicine and groceries, and sat on her couch at 2 a.m. holding her sleeping daughter, staring at Charles Harrison's text message. Tomorrow morning her life would change. She just had to be brave enough to accept help when it was offered. Could you really walk away from $1 million and the chance to save your daughter's future? What would you do in Anna's shoes? Drop a comment below and subscribe to see how this story unfolds. Your support means everything. Anna stood outside the law office at 8:45 a.m., wearing her best dress. It was maroon, a few years old, bought for a job interview that never panned out. She'd borrowed makeup from her neighbor to cover the dark circles under her eyes. Lily Rose was with her other neighbor, Mrs. Chin, watching cartoons and eating the breakfast Anna had actually been able to afford. The lobby of Westwood Legal Associates screamed money. Marble floors. Abstract art on the walls. A receptionist who looked like she stepped out of a fashion magazine. Anna Bennett for Charles Harrison. The receptionist smiled warmly. He's expecting you. Conference room 3, down the hall on your left. Anna's heels clicked against the polished floor. Her heart hammered. This was crazy. Absolutely insane. People didn't marry strangers for money. That was something from movies, not real life. But her bank account disagreed. Real life was exactly where desperate people made desperate choices. She pushed open the conference room door. Charles sat at a long table with an older man in glasses. Both looked up. Charles wore a navy suit today, his dark hair perfectly styled. He stood immediately. Anna. Thank you for coming. He gestured to the chair beside him. This is Edmund Carter, my attorney. Ms. Bennett. Edmund shook her hand. I understand you've been briefed on the situation. Briefly. Anna sat down, setting her purse on the table. Charles needs a wife for 1 year to inherit his company. I get paid $1 million to pretend. That's the essence, yes. Edmund slid a thick document across the table. This is the contract. I'll walk you through every clause. For the next hour, Anna listened as Edmund explained the terms. She would live in Charles's penthouse. Attend social functions as his wife. Behave affectionately in public. Maintain the appearance of a genuine marriage. In return, Charles would pay all her debts immediately, provide a monthly living allowance of $5,000, and transfer $1 million at the end of 12 months. There were clauses about privacy, about maintaining the secret, about what happened if either party broke the contract. There were clauses about her daughter, about schooling, about medical care. Your daughter will attend Lakeside Academy, Charles said quietly. It's one of the best private schools in Seattle. Full scholarship covered by me. Anna's throat tightened. Lakeside Academy. She'd driven past it once, seen the beautiful grounds and laughing children, and felt the familiar ache of knowing Lily Rose would never have that life. There's also a medical clause, Edmund continued. Full health coverage for both you and your daughter. Dental, vision, everything. Why are you being so generous? Anna whispered. Charles leaned forward. Because I'm asking you to give up a year of your life. The least I can do is make sure you and your daughter are taken care of properly. What about physical expectations? There are none. Charles's voice was firm. The penthouse has 3 bedrooms. You'll have your own space. I won't touch you unless absolutely necessary for public appearances. Hand holding, occasional arm around your shoulder, that sort of thing. Nothing more unless you're comfortable with it. And at the end of the year? We file for divorce quietly. You get your money. You disappear into whatever life you want to build. I keep the company. We both walk away satisfied. Sounded too easy. Too clean. And a new life never worked that way. What if your family figures it out? What if they realize we're faking? Then we become better actors, Charles said simply. My grandmother is the only family member I truly care about, and she's desperate for me to find happiness. Richard, my brother, is too focused on corporate strategy to pay attention to my personal life. We can do this, Anna. I believe that. Anna stared at the contract. 40 pages of legal language that would bind her to this stranger for 12 months. 40 pages that would save her daughter's future. She picked up the pen Edmund offered. Where do I sign? 3 hours later, Anna stood in the living room of Charles Harrison's penthouse, feeling like she'd stepped into another world. The space occupied the entire top floor of a luxury building overlooking Puget Sound. Windows wrapped around 3 sides, offering views that probably cost more per month than Anna's annual salary. The furniture was modern and expensive. Everything was white, gray, or chrome. It looked like a hotel, beautiful but impersonal. Your bedroom is through here. Charles led her down a hallway. Lily Rose's room is next door. I had it prepared this morning after you confirmed you were coming. He opened a door and Anna gasped. The child's room was perfect. A bed shaped like a castle, painted in bright blues and purples. Bookshelves full of new books. A toy chest overflowing with dolls and games. A desk with art supplies. Everything a 5-year-old could want. How did you? I have excellent assistants. Charles smiled slightly. And I remember what it was like to be a kid who loved stories and imagination. She's going to think she's dreaming. Good. Let her dream. He opened another door. This is your room. Anna's bedroom was easily 3 times the size of her entire apartment. A queen bed with white linens. A walk-in closet. Floor-to-ceiling windows. An attached bathroom with a soaking tub and rainfall shower. I can't believe this is real. It's real. Charles checked his watch. The movers are bringing your belongings at 2 p.m. I've arranged for Mrs. Chin to bring Lily Rose at 3 p.m. so the apartment is settled when she arrives. Is there anything else you need? Anna turned to face him. You mentioned we'd have to share a bedroom sometimes? Only when my grandmother visits. She's very traditional. She'll expect us to share the master suite. He gestured toward another door. It has a separate sitting room with a couch. I can sleep there when necessary. But she doesn't visit often, so most of the time you'll have complete privacy. Okay. Anna nodded slowly. Okay, I can do that. Anna. Charles stepped closer. I know this is overwhelming. I know you're probably terrified. But I promise I will never do anything to make you uncomfortable. This is a business arrangement, yes, but that doesn't mean I'll treat you poorly. You and Lily Rose are safe here. Why do I believe you? Maybe because I'm being honest. He smiled and it transformed his face. Suddenly he looked younger, less like a corporate titan and more like a regular person. I'll be in my office if you need anything. Take your time settling in. He left her alone in the beautiful room. Anna sat on the edge of the bed, her reflection staring back from the window. She looked the same. Brown skin, dark eyes, braided hair. But everything inside her felt different. She'd said yes. She'd taken the help without hesitation, just like Charles had advised. Now she just had to figure out how to survive the next 12 months pretending to love a man she barely knew. When Lily Rose arrived that afternoon, her reaction made everything worth it. Mama, is this really ours? She spun in circles in her new bedroom, her fever broken, her eyes bright with joy. For a while, yes. It's like a princess castle. It is. Anna knelt down to her daughter's level. Baby, I need to explain something. You remember Mr. Harrison? The man who helped us. The nice man who paid for the doctor? Yes. Well, he's asked me to be his friend. Very close friends. And that means we get to live here with him for a while. Lily Rose's face scrunched up in thought. Is he going to be my daddy? The question stabbed through Anna's heart. It's complicated, honey. But he's going to take care of us. Is that okay? Will he be nice to you? Yes. Then okay. Lily Rose hugged her mother tight. I like it here, Mama. It feels safe. Safe. The word Anna had been chasing her entire adult life. That evening, Charles ordered dinner from an expensive Italian restaurant. They ate together at the dining table, Lily Rose chattering about her new room, Charles listening with genuine interest. He asked about her favorite books, her favorite colors, what she wanted to be when she grew up. A veterinarian, Lily Rose announced. I want to help sick puppies. That's a wonderful goal. Charles smiled at her. We'll have to visit the zoo soon. Would you like that? Really? Really? Anna watched them interact and felt something shift inside her chest. This man, this stranger, was being kind to her daughter. Not for show. Not because anyone was watching. Just because. After Lily Rose went to bed, Anna found Charles in his home office, typing on his laptop. Thank you, she said from the doorway. He looked up. For what? For being kind to her. You didn't have to do that. Anna, I'm not a monster. I like children. And your daughter is delightful. Still. Thank you. She hesitated. I want to do this right. I want to be convincing. So tell me, what do I need to know about you? What do husbands and wives know about each other? Charles leaned back in his chair. Practical question. Okay. My coffee order is black, no sugar. I run every morning at 6 a.m. I'm allergic to shellfish. My favorite color is navy blue. I hate small talk, but I'm good at it. I have a business degree from Harvard, and I worked my way up through this company despite my father trying to hand me everything. He paused. Your turn. I like my coffee with cream and sugar. I can't run because I have bad knees from an accident when I was younger. I'm not allergic to anything. My favorite color is yellow. I love small talk because I grew up lonely. I finished 2 years of community college before I had to drop out because I got pregnant. I worked 3 jobs to support my daughter until I couldn't anymore. And Lily Rose's father? Gone before she was born. He didn't want the responsibility. Anna shrugged. His loss. Absolutely his loss. Charles stood up. We'll learn more about each other as we go. For now, get some rest. Tomorrow we start the real work. My grandmother wants to meet you for lunch. Tomorrow? Anna's eyes widened. She's excited. I told her I'd finally found someone special. He smiled. Don't worry. Just be yourself. She'll love you. As Anna walked back to her bedroom, she realized something surprising. She wasn't scared anymore. She was curious. About Charles. About this strange new life. About what the next year would bring. She'd accepted the help. Now she was going to make it count. The restaurant was the kind of place Anna had only seen in movies. Crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, waiters in suits. She wore a new dress, bright blue, that Charles had insisted on buying for her. He sat beside her now, his hand resting lightly on her lower back as they waited for his grandmother to arrive. Relax, he murmured. You look perfect. I don't belong here. Yes, you do. His fingers pressed gently. You're Anna Harrison now. Start believing it. Anna Harrison. The name still felt foreign. An elegant woman in her 70s approached their table, moving with the grace of someone who'd grown up with money. She had silver hair swept into a classic bun, kind eyes, and a smile that reminded Anna of her own grandmother. Charles. She kissed his cheek. Finally. Grandmother, this is Anna. Anna, my grandmother, Catherine Harrison. Mrs. Harrison. Anna stood, offering her hand. It's wonderful to meet you. Oh, none of that formal nonsense. Catherine pulled her into a hug instead. Call me Catherine. Or Grandma if you're feeling brave. She stepped back, studying Anna with sharp eyes. My goodness, you're beautiful. And you have kind eyes. I like kind eyes. They sat down. A waiter appeared instantly, pouring water and taking drink orders. So tell me everything, Catherine said, leaning forward with obvious delight. How did you two meet? Charles has been impossible about sharing details. Anna glanced at Charles, who nodded slightly. They'd rehearsed this story that morning. We met at his office, Anna said. I work for the cleaning company that services Harrison Industries. I was working late one night and Charles was still there. We started talking. About what? Life. Loneliness. How hard it is to find genuine connection in a city like Seattle. The words came easier than Anna expected. He told me about the pressure he was under. I told him about my struggles as a single mother. We just connected. It wasn't entirely a lie. They had connected in a strange way. Two desperate people finding each other at the exact right moment. And when did you know you loved him? Catherine asked. The question caught Anna off guard. They hadn't rehearsed this part. I think. Anna looked at Charles, who was watching her carefully. I think I knew when he met my daughter. He didn't treat her like an inconvenience. He got down on her level, asked her about her favorite books, made her laugh. That's when I realized he was someone special. Charles's expression softened. And I knew when Anna brought me coffee at 3 a.m. because she noticed I was stressed about a presentation. She didn't have to do that. She barely knew me. But she cared anyway. That was a lie, of course. That had never happened. But Catherine's eyes glistened with tears. Oh, you two. You've made me so happy. She reached across the table, clasping both their hands. I was so worried Charles would end up alone, married to his work. But you've saved him, Anna? He saved me too, Anna said, and that part was true. They ordered lunch. Catherine asked about Lily Rose, about Anna's family, about the wedding plans. Charles smoothly explained they'd had a small courthouse ceremony, just the two of them, because they didn't want to wait. Catherine seemed disappointed but understanding. You'll have a proper party eventually, she insisted. I want to celebrate properly. Of course, Charles agreed. Whatever you want, grandmother. After lunch, Catherine hugged Anna again. Take care of my grandson. He acts tough, but he has a tender heart. I will, Anna promised. In the car ride home, Charles was quiet. Anna watched the city pass by the windows, processing everything. Your grandmother is lovely. She is. Charles glanced at her. You did well. Very convincing. I wasn't trying to be convincing. I was just talking. I know. That's what made it work. He turned down the street toward the penthouse. My brother wants to have dinner with us next week. I wanted to warn you. Richard is nothing like Catherine. What's he like? Smart. Ruthless. He'll be looking for cracks in our story. Charles pulled into the garage. But we'll be ready. Over the next few days, Anna settled into a strange new rhythm. She woke up in the beautiful penthouse. Made breakfast while Charles went for his morning run. Took Lily Rose to her new school where her daughter thrived immediately. Spent afternoons exploring the neighborhood, grocery shopping, learning how to cook proper meals. Charles came home at 6 p.m. every evening. They ate dinner together, the three of them talking about their days. He asked Lily Rose about school. She told him elaborate stories about her new friends and her teachers. He listened to every word like it mattered. After Lily Rose went to bed, Anna and Charles would sit in the living room. Sometimes they watched television. Sometimes they talked about business, about his company's challenges. Sometimes they just existed in comfortable silence. One evening, Anna found Charles in his office at midnight, stress evident in every line of his body. You should sleep. Can't. He rubbed his face. Richard made another move today. He's convinced 3 board members to question my leadership. He's claiming I'm too focused on expansion and not enough on profit. Are you? Maybe. Charles looked at her. I want to build something that lasts. My father only cared about money. I want to care about people too. But that makes me look soft. It doesn't make you soft. It makes you human. Tell that to the board. Anna walked into the office and sat on the edge of his desk. Do you want advice? From you? I spent years working minimum wage jobs for bosses who didn't care about me. I know what it's like to be treated as disposable. If you're trying to build a company that values people, that's not weakness. That's strength. But you have to show the board that caring about employees actually improves the bottom line. Charles sat up straighter. How? Numbers. Data. Show them retention rates, productivity metrics, employee satisfaction scores. Prove that when people feel valued they work harder. Make it a business case, not an emotional plea. He stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled. That's actually brilliant. I have my moments. Anna? He hesitated. Thank you. For being here. For caring. We're in this together, right? Right. She stood to leave, but Charles caught her hand. Stay. Just for a little while. I could use the company. So Anna stayed. They talked until 2 a.m. about everything and nothing. About their childhoods, their dreams, their fears. Anna learned that Charles had lost his mother when he was 12. That his father had been cold and demanding. That Richard had always been the favorite, the golden child who could do no wrong. Is that why you're fighting so hard for this company? Anna asked. To prove something to your father? Maybe. Or maybe I'm just stubborn. Charles looked out the window at the sleeping city. All I know is that I built something here. A culture that values innovation and integrity. If Richard takes over, he'll strip that away. He'll cut costs, fire people, maximize profits at the expense of everything else. I can't let that happen. Then we won't let it happen. Though we felt natural. Anna didn't think about it until later, lying in her own bed, staring at the ceiling. She was getting too comfortable. Too involved. This was supposed to be a business arrangement, nothing more. But every day it felt less like business and more like something else. Something dangerous. Something that could break her heart when the year ended. The following week, they had dinner with Richard Harrison at an upscale steakhouse. Anna wore a red dress, bold and confident, because Charles had told her Richard responded to power. Richard looked like Charles but colder. Same dark hair, same blue eyes but without any warmth. He greeted them with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. So this is the famous Anna. He shook her hand. Charles finally found someone willing to put up with him. I don't find him difficult at all, Anna said smoothly. He's the kindest man I've ever met. Interesting. Richard's gaze was calculating. Where did you say you were from? Seattle. Born and raised. And you have a daughter? Lily Rose. She's 5. Must be difficult being a single mother. Before Charles, I mean. Anna felt the trap. He was trying to make her look like a gold digger, someone who'd latched onto Charles for money. It was difficult, she agreed. But I managed. I've always been good at surviving. Surviving. Richard tasted the word. That's an interesting way to put it. Charles's hand found Anna's under the table, squeezing gently. Anna is being modest. She worked 3 jobs to support her daughter. She's one of the strongest people I know. How romantic. Richard sipped his wine. Tell me, when exactly did you two get married? It seems very sudden. When you know, Anna said. Why wait? The dinner continued, Richard probing and testing, Anna deflecting every attempt to rattle her. By the time dessert arrived, she could see frustration in Richard's eyes. He hadn't found the weakness he was looking for. In the car afterward, Charles let out a long breath. You were incredible. He's not going to stop. No, he won't. But you handled him perfectly. Charles glanced at her. I'm starting to think we might actually pull this off. You doubt it? A little. But not anymore. That night, after Lily Rose was asleep, Anna found Charles on the penthouse balcony, looking out at the lights of the city. Are you okay? Just thinking. He turned to her. About how much my life has changed in 2 weeks. Good change or bad change? Good. Surprisingly good. He smiled. I like having you and Lily Rose here. The penthouse doesn't feel so empty anymore. We like being here too. They stood in comfortable silence, the night air cool around them. Anna realized she was happy. Genuinely, simply happy. For the first time in years, she wasn't worried about bills or rent or how to afford groceries. She was just existing. Breathing. Living. Charles? Yes. Thank you for giving us this chance. Thank you for taking it. He reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was casual, gentle. But it sent warmth flooding through Anna's chest. This was dangerous territory. She knew it. But she couldn't seem to stop herself from stepping closer to the edge. From wanting more than the contract allowed. From imagining what it would be like if this was real. Anna discovered that Charles was a man of habits. Every morning at exactly 5:45 a.m., his alarm went off. By 6 o'clock he was running through the city streets. At 7 o'clock he showered. At 7:30 he emerged from his bedroom in a suit, ready for whatever battles the day would bring. Anna learned to wake up at 6:30, to have coffee brewing when he returned from his run. It wasn't part of their contract, but it felt right somehow. "You don't have to do this," Charles said one morning, accepting the mug gratefully. "I know, but I want to." They fell into a pattern. Breakfast together before Lily Rose woke up. 20 minutes of quiet conversation about the day ahead. Then the controlled chaos of getting a 5-year-old ready for school. Charles helped more than Anna expected, braiding Lily Rose's hair with surprising skill, packing her lunch, checking her homework. "How do you know how to do French braids?" Anna asked, watching him work. "YouTube." He focused on the strands of hair. "I figured if I'm pretending to be her stepfather, I should actually be useful. You don't have to try this hard." "Yes, I do." He finished the braid and met Anna's eyes. "I don't do anything halfway." That became clear over the following weeks. Charles didn't just pretend to care about Lily Rose. He genuinely invested in her life. He attended a school play where she had 2 lines. He took her to the aquarium on a Saturday and listened to her excited chatter about octopuses for hours. He read her bedtime stories in different voices that made her giggle. And somehow, without Anna noticing exactly when it happened, they became a family. Not a real family. Not technically. But it felt real. It felt like home. One evening, 3 weeks into their arrangement, Anna was preparing dinner when Charles came home early. He looked exhausted, his suit jacket slung over his arm, his tie loosened. "Bad day." Richard convinced another board member to question my expansion strategy. He dropped onto the couch. "That's 5 out of 12. If he gets 2 more, he can block my next acquisition." "What acquisition?" "A small tech company in California. They've developed software that could revolutionize our supply chain management. But Richard says it's too expensive, too risky." Charles rubbed his temples. "He's probably right. It is expensive. But sometimes you have to take risks to stay ahead." Anna abandoned dinner and sat beside him. "Do you have a contingency plan?" "Always. But they're all complicated." He looked at her. "I'm sorry. You don't need to hear about this." "I want to hear about it." "You're stressed. Talk to me." So he did. For the next hour, Charles explained the intricate politics of corporate boardrooms, the delicate balance of power, the ways Richard was slowly undermining his authority. Anna listened, asking questions, offering observations from her outsider perspective. "You know what your problem is?" she said eventually. "You're trying to fight Richard on his terms. Logic, numbers, business strategy. But he's better at that game than you are." "Thanks for the confidence boost. Let me finish. You need to fight on your terms. Heart. Vision. The human element. Show the board that you're not just making smart business decisions. Show them you're building something meaningful. Something that will outlast all of you." Charles considered this. "How?" "Bring them to the company. Not the fancy executive offices. The actual floors where people work. Let them see the employee satisfaction. The innovation happening every day. Make them feel what you're building, not just see it on a spreadsheet." His face lit up. "That could actually work." "Of course it could work. I'm brilliant." Charles laughed, the tension finally leaving his shoulders. "Yes, you are." Their eyes met and something shifted. Anna felt it like a physical touch. The air between them seemed to thicken, charged with possibility. "Anna?" "Yes." But whatever Charles was about to say was interrupted by Lily Rose running into the room, backpack bouncing. "Mama, guess what? Mrs. Patterson said my drawing was the best in class." The moment broke. Anna turned to her daughter, exclaiming over her artwork, while Charles retreated to his office to work on the new strategy. But later that night, after Lily Rose was in bed, Anna found herself thinking about that look. About the way Charles had said her name. About the way her heart had jumped in response. This was getting complicated. She was starting to have feelings for her fake husband. The next morning, Catherine Harrison called and invited them to her estate for Sunday brunch. It was 3 days away, enough time for Anna to panic about meeting more family members. "Who else will be there?" she asked Charles. "Just Catherine, her sister Evelyn, and maybe a few cousins. Small gathering." He looked up from his laptop. "What? Are you worried?" "I'm always worried. What if they figure it out?" "They won't. You're a natural actress." He smiled. "Besides, they already love you. Catherine calls me twice a day to tell me how lucky I am." "She does." "She does. Apparently you have good energy and genuine warmth." Her exact words. Anna felt a flush of pleasure. "I like her too." Sunday arrived too quickly. The Harrison estate sat on 3 acres in Bellevue, a sprawling mansion that made the penthouse look modest. Anna wore a bright green dress, elegant but not overdone, and helped Lily Rose into a pretty blue sundress. "Remember," Charles said as they pulled up the long driveway. "Just be yourself. Answer questions honestly. We met through work, fell in love fast, got married quickly because we didn't want to wait. Simple story." "Simple story," Anna echoed. Catherine met them at the door, sweeping Lily Rose into a hug. "There's my honorary great-granddaughter. Come, come. I have cookies and lemonade waiting." The brunch was surprisingly pleasant. Catherine's sister Evelyn was sharp but kind. The cousins, two middle-aged women named Patricia and Gloria, were more interested in talking about their own lives than interrogating Anna. Lily Rose charmed everyone by being herself, asking a million questions and making them laugh. Anna started to relax. Maybe this would be okay. Then Richard arrived. He wasn't supposed to be there. Charles's entire body tensed when his brother walked into the garden where they were eating. "Grandmother." Richard kissed Catherine's cheek. "I was nearby and thought I'd stop by." "How lovely." Catherine gestured to the table. "Join us." Richard sat directly across from Anna, his gaze sharp. "Anna." "Lily Rose." "What a pleasant surprise." "Richard." Charles's voice was carefully neutral. "I didn't know you'd be here." "Last-minute decision." Richard helped himself to a pastry. "I've been thinking about you too. About your relationship. And I realized we never really got to know each other at that dinner." "There's not much to tell," Anna said lightly. "Oh, I doubt that. Everyone has a story." He smiled. "For instance, where did you go to school?" "Roosevelt High School here in Seattle." "And college?" "Seattle Community College. I completed 2 years before personal circumstances required me to leave." "Personal circumstances." Richard's eyes flicked to Lily Rose. "You mean getting pregnant?" Anna's temper flared, but Charles spoke first. "Richard, that's inappropriate." "Is it?" "I'm just trying to understand my new sister-in-law." Richard turned back to Anna. "So you dropped out of college, had a child, worked as a cleaner. Then you met Charles and within weeks you were married. That's quite a Cinderella story." "Life works in mysterious ways," Anna said evenly. "Indeed it does." Richard leaned forward. "Tell me, Anna, do you have a prenuptial agreement?" The table went silent. Catherine looked appalled. Charles's jaw clenched. But Anna smiled. "Of course we do. Charles has assets to protect." I completely understood his lawyer's concerns. It was a lie. There was no prenup because their marriage was a business contract, not a real union. But Richard didn't need to know that. "How reasonable of you," Richard said, clearly disappointed he hadn't rattled her. "I love Charles," Anna said clearly. "I didn't marry him for his money. I married him because he's kind, intelligent, and wonderful with my daughter. Everything else is just details." Catherine beamed. "That's exactly right." Richard tried several more times to trip her up, asking about their wedding, their future plans, their relationship dynamics. Anna answered each question calmly, with Charles providing supporting details. They'd practiced enough that their stories aligned perfectly. By the end of brunch, Richard left frustrated and Catherine pulled Anna aside. "I'm sorry about my other grandson. He's always been jealous of Charles." "I understand. Family can be complicated." "You handled him beautifully." Catherine squeezed her hand. "You're exactly what Charles needs. Someone strong enough to stand up for him." In the car going home, Charles was quiet. Anna watched him, noticing the tension in his shoulders. "You okay?" "Richard knows something. I don't know what, but he's suspicious." "Let him be suspicious. We're not giving him any ammunition. Anna, if he finds out this marriage is fake, he'll use it to destroy me. He'll claim fraud, say I manipulated the will. I could lose everything. Then we don't let him find out." Anna reached over, covering his hand with hers. "We're in this together, remember?" Charles looked at their joined hands. "When did you become the strong one?" "I've always been strong. You just helped me remember it." That night, they stayed up late talking on the balcony. Charles opened up about his childhood, about growing up in Richard's shadow, about never feeling good enough for his father. Anna shared her own stories of struggle, of nights when she'd cried herself to sleep worrying about bills, of the shame she'd felt accepting government assistance. "You never should have felt ashamed," Charles said fiercely. "You were surviving, taking care of your daughter. That's not weakness." "I know that now. But at the time." Anna shrugged. "It's hard not to internalize society's judgments." "Well, society can go to hell." Anna laughed. "Spoken like a billionaire." spoken like someone who's seen how broken the system is. He turned to her. I want to do something about it, Anna. With this company, with my resources. I want to make a difference. Then do it. Build that company you're dreaming of. Change lives. You have the power. And you're helping me believe I can actually pull it off. They sat in comfortable silence, the night air cool around them. Anna realized she was happy. Not pretend happy, but genuinely content. For the first time in years, she felt like she was exactly where she was supposed to be. Even if it was temporary. Even if it was built on lies. It felt real in this moment, and that was enough. Are you rooting for Anna and Charles? Do you think they can keep their secret from Richard? Comment below what you think will happen next, and don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter. The story is just getting started. The invitation arrived on heavy cardstock, embossed with gold lettering. The Harrison Foundation Annual Gala. Anna stared at it with growing dread. This is where everyone will be watching us, Charles explained. The entire Seattle business community. Every board member. Richard and all his allies. No pressure. You'll be fine. Better than fine. He smiled. We just need to get you a dress. The shopping trip was surreal. Charles took her to a boutique where Anna had never dreamed of shopping, the kind of place where everything cost more than her old monthly rent. A personal stylist pulled dresses while Anna stood awkwardly, unsure where to look. Try this one, the stylist said, holding up a floor-length emerald gown. In the dressing room, Anna slipped into the dress and stared at her reflection. The emerald fabric hugged her curves perfectly, bringing out the richness of her brown skin. The neckline was elegant without being too revealing. She looked sophisticated. Beautiful. Like someone who belonged in Charles Harrison's world. She stepped out of the dressing room. Charles was scrolling through his phone, but he looked up at her entrance. His eyes widened. For 3 full seconds he didn't speak. That's the one, he finally said, his voice rough. Are you sure? Maybe I should try others. No. That's perfect. You're perfect. He cleared his throat. We'll take it. The night of the gala, Anna spent 2 hours getting ready. Hair in an elegant updo. Makeup subtle but polished. The emerald dress fit like it was made for her. She studied her reflection one last time before walking to the living room where Charles waited. He stood by the windows in a black tuxedo, looking like he'd stepped out of a magazine. When he turned and saw her, his expression made Anna's breath catch. You're stunning. You clean up pretty well yourself. He crossed to her, pulling a velvet box from his pocket. I got you something. Part of the appearance. Inside was a necklace, delicate diamonds that caught the light. Anna's hand went to her throat. Charles, this is too much. It's necessary. Everyone will expect my wife to wear jewelry. He lifted the necklace. May I? Anna nodded, turning around. His fingers brushed her neck as he clasped the necklace, sending goosebumps down her spine. She could feel his breath against her skin, the warmth of his body close to hers. There. His voice was low. Perfect. The ballroom of the Grand Seattle Hotel was decorated like something from a dream. Crystal chandeliers, white flowers, tables draped in gold cloth. 200 guests in formal wear mingled, champagne glasses in hand. Charles's hand rested on Anna's lower back as they entered. She could feel every eye turned toward them. Just breathe, he murmured. And smile. They worked the room together. Charles introduced her to board members, business partners, wealthy philanthropists. Anna shook hands and made small talk, channeling every ounce of confidence she'd ever possessed. She asked questions about their work, their families, their interests. She listened and remembered names. You're a natural, Charles said during a break, handing her champagne. I'm terrified. You're not showing it. Catherine found them before dinner, sweeping Anna into a hug. You look absolutely beautiful, dear. That color is perfect on you. Thank you. You look wonderful too. Oh, this old thing. Catherine waved dismissively. She wore burgundy lace that probably cost more than a car. Now come, let me introduce you to some people. For the next hour, Anna met what felt like half of Seattle's elite. Most were kind, some were cold, all were curious about the woman who'd married Charles Harrison. Anna answered their subtle and not so subtle questions with grace, never letting the smile slip from her face. Then Richard approached. Anna, you look lovely. His tone was pleasant, but his eyes were calculating. Quite a different look from your cleaning uniform. People contain multitudes, Anna replied smoothly. Indeed they do. He sipped his drink. I've been asking around about you. It's interesting. No one seems to know you. No social media presence. No connections to Seattle's usual circles. It's like you appeared out of nowhere. Some of us don't document our entire lives online. Or some of us have something to hide. Charles appeared at Anna's side, his hand finding hers. Richard, are you harassing my wife? Just making conversation. Richard smiled. Though I am curious, did you two have a wedding ceremony? Or was it just a courthouse signing? We preferred intimate, Charles said. Not everyone needs a three-ring circus. How convenient. Dinner was announced. They found their assigned table, sitting with 2 board members and their wives. The conversation flowed around business strategies, market trends, company performance. Anna contributed when appropriate, asking intelligent questions that Charles had helped her prepare. You seem very knowledgeable about business for someone with your background, one of the board members' wives commented. The statement walked the line between compliment and insult. I've always been interested in how organizations function, Anna said. And Charles has been teaching me a lot about the industry. She's a quick study, Charles added, his hand covering hers on the table. One of the many things I love about her. After dinner there was dancing. Charles led Anna onto the floor as a string quartet played something slow and romantic. His hand settled on her waist, her hand on his shoulder, their other hands clasped between them. You're doing amazing, he said quietly. I feel like I'm walking through a minefield. You are. But you're graceful about it. He smiled. Relax. We've got this. As they swayed together, Anna found herself noticing details. The way Charles moved with easy confidence. The warmth of his hand at her waist. The clean scent of his cologne. The way he looked at her like she was the only person in the room. It would be so easy to forget this was fake. So easy to believe he actually cared about her. Anna. Oh, thank you. For doing this. For being here. His voice was soft. I know tonight was hard. It wasn't so bad. She met his eyes. Not with you. Something shifted in his gaze. His hand tightened on her waist. For a moment Anna thought he might kiss her. Right there in front of everyone. And she realized she wanted him to. But the song ended. The spell broke. They pulled apart as polite applause rippled through the ballroom. I need some air, Anna said. I'll come with you. No, it's okay. Stay. Network. I'll just be a minute. She escaped to the balcony, breathing in the cool night air. Her heart was racing. What was she thinking? This was a business arrangement. A contract. She couldn't actually fall for Charles Harrison. Pretty dress. Anna turned. Richard stood in the doorway holding a glass of scotch. Thank you. You put on quite a performance tonight. He joined her at the railing. Very convincing. The devoted wife, the interested partner. Charles should give you an Oscar. I'm not performing anything. Please. You don't have to pretend with me. Richard's smile was cold. I know exactly what you are. A gold digger who saw an opportunity and took it. Charles is lonely and desperate for approval. You played on that. Very smart, actually. You don't know anything about me. I know you came from nothing. I know you have a kid. I know you were broke and struggling until Charles swept in like a white knight. He leaned closer. I also know this marriage is suspicious as hell. Too fast, too convenient, right when Charles needed to meet the will's requirement. So here's what I think. This is a scam. A contract arrangement to get Charles his inheritance. Anna's blood went cold, but she kept her expression neutral. You think whatever you want. It doesn't change the fact that I love him. Prove it. I don't have to prove anything to you. Actually, you do. Because if I'm right, if this marriage is fake, I can have it annulled. I can challenge the will. I can take everything Charles thinks he's secured. Richard's voice was soft but lethal. So I suggest you think very carefully about your next moves. Because I'm watching. And the moment you slip up, I'll be there. He walked away, leaving Anna shaking on the balcony. Charles found her 5 minutes later. Anna? What's wrong? You're pale. Richard knows. Or at least he suspects. What did he say? Anna repeated the conversation. Charles's jaw tightened with each word. That bastard. He's going to keep digging. What if he finds proof? What if someone saw us sign the contract? What if? Hey. Charles cupped her face in his hands. Look at me. We're not going to panic. Richard can suspect all he wants, but he can't prove anything. Our story is solid. Our witnesses are reliable. We just have to stay consistent. I'm scared. I know. So am I. His thumbs brushed her cheeks gently. But we're going to get through this. Together. They stood close, his hands still framing her face, her heart pounding. The balcony was private, shadowed. No one could see them. No one was watching. And yet Charles leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. Anna didn't pull away. His lips met hers softly, questioningly. Anna responded without thinking, her hands moving to his chest, feeling his heart beat as fast as hers. The kiss deepened, becoming something real, something that had nothing to do with their contract and everything to do with what they'd been building for weeks. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. Charles started. We should go back inside, Anna said quickly. People will notice we're gone. Anna, I need to say. Please. Not now. Let's just get through the rest of tonight. They returned to the ballroom, the moment unspoken between them. But everything had changed. Anna could feel it. The line between fake and real had blurred beyond recognition, and she had no idea how to find it again. The rest of the gala passed in a blur. Anna smiled and talked and played her part, but her mind kept returning to that kiss. The way Charles had looked at her. The way she'd felt in his arms. In the car going home, they sat in loaded silence. Finally, Charles spoke. I shouldn't have done that. It's fine. It's not fine. We have a contract. Boundaries. I crossed them. Charles? I'm sorry. It won't happen again. But Anna didn't want his apology. She wanted him to kiss her again. She wanted this fake marriage to become real. And that terrified her more than anything Richard could do. At the penthouse, they said stiff goodnights and retreated to their separate rooms. Anna changed out of the beautiful dress, removed the diamond necklace, washed off the makeup. In the mirror, she looked like herself again. Just Anna. Single mom. Former cleaning lady. Playing at being someone she wasn't. But was she playing? Or had she become that person? She didn't know anymore. And that was the scariest part of all. The week after the gala, something shifted between Anna and Charles. They didn't talk about the kiss. They maintained their routine. Breakfast together, dinners as a family, pleasant conversation. But underneath was a current of tension, awareness, something unspoken but undeniable. Anna caught Charles watching her when he thought she wasn't looking. His gaze would linger on her face, warm and thoughtful. Then he'd notice her noticing and look away quickly, clearing his throat. At night, Anna lay in her beautiful room and replayed the kiss over and over. The gentle pressure of his lips. The way his hands had cradled her face. The feeling that the ground had shifted beneath her feet. She was falling for him. Actually, truly falling. And that wasn't part of the plan. On Tuesday, Charles came home at lunch, which never happened. I cleared my afternoon, he announced. I thought we could do something as a family. Really? Lily Rose bounced with excitement. Where are we going? How about the zoo? I promised we'd visit, remember? The zoo was crowded with school groups and families. Charles held Lily Rose's hand as they walked, listening to her excited commentary about every animal. Anna trailed behind with the camera, capturing moments that felt achingly real. At the penguin exhibit, Lily Rose pressed her face against the glass. They're so cute, Mama. Can we get a penguin? I don't think penguins are good apartment pets, Anna laughed. Penthouse pets, Lily Rose corrected seriously. We live in a penthouse now. Charles caught Anna's eye over Lily Rose's head. Something passed between them. A shared moment of amusement and affection and something deeper. They ate lunch at the zoo cafe, terrible overpriced food that Lily Rose thought was the best meal ever. Charles let her order whatever she wanted, then patiently answered her 1,000 questions about why elephants had trunks and how tall giraffes actually were. You're good with her, Anna said quietly. She's easy to be good with. He smiled at Lily Rose, who was now explaining her theory about why penguins couldn't fly. She's curious and kind. She gets that from you. I don't know about that. I do. His gaze held hers. You're one of the kindest people I've ever met, Anna. Even when life gave you every reason to become bitter, you stayed soft. The compliment hit Anna square in the chest. She looked away, blinking against sudden tears. That night, after Lily Rose was asleep, Anna found Charles in his office again. This was becoming their pattern. Late-night conversations when the rest of the world was quiet. Thank you for today, she said from the doorway. I enjoyed it. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. Come sit. I want to show you something. Anna settled into the leather chair. Charles turned his laptop toward her, showing spreadsheets and projections. Remember that tech acquisition I mentioned? The one Richard opposed. Yes. I followed your advice. Tomorrow, I'm taking the board members on a tour of our facilities. Showing them the human element, not just the numbers. His smile was proud. I've arranged for employees to talk about what the company means to them. Real stories, real impact. That's wonderful. It was your idea. I'm just executing it. He leaned back. Anna, you've changed how I think about this business. About leadership. I used to focus only on strategy and growth. But you've shown me that people are the real asset. I didn't do anything special. You did. You made me see things differently. He paused. You make me want to be better. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. Anna's heart raced. Charles, about the gala? We don't have to talk about that. But I want to. She took a breath. That kiss. It wasn't just for show, was it? No. His voice was quiet. It wasn't. Then what was it? Charles stood, walking to the window. The city lights spread below them, a sea of illumination in the darkness. I don't know. All I know is that somewhere in the past 6 weeks, this stopped being a business arrangement for me. He turned to face her. I like having you here. I like talking to you. I like how you make Lily Rose laugh, how you challenge my thinking, how you see the world with such clear eyes. He ran a hand through his hair. I'm trying to maintain boundaries, trying to remember this is temporary. But I'm failing, Anna. I'm failing badly. Anna stood too, crossing to him. What if I'm failing too? You can't say that. Why not? It's true. She looked up at him. I didn't want this to happen. I tried to keep my distance. But every day I fall a little more. The way you read to Lily Rose. The way you listen when I talk. The way you make me feel safe for the first time in years. Her voice cracked. I'm falling for you, Charles. And I don't know how to stop. For a moment he just stared at her. Then he pulled her into his arms, holding her tight against his chest. I'm falling too, he whispered into her hair. I've been falling since the moment you walked into my office and agreed to this insane plan. They stood wrapped together, hearts beating in sync. Anna felt tears on her cheeks but didn't pull away. This was too important. Too real. What do we do? She asked. I don't know. Our contract has 7 more months. We can't just. He pulled back to look at her. What if this is just proximity? What if when the year ends, we realize it was circumstantial? Is that what you think? No. But I'm scared to trust my own judgment. His thumb brushed her cheek. I don't want to hurt you. Or Lily Rose. If this ends badly, then we're careful. We take it slow. We don't make any big changes to the arrangement. Anna managed a watery smile. We just let ourselves feel what we're feeling. Can you do that? Can you exist in the uncertainty? I've lived with uncertainty my whole life. This is different. She covered his hand with hers. This is good uncertainty. Charles kissed her forehead, lingering. You're remarkable. I'm just trying to survive. No, you're thriving. And you're teaching me how to do the same. They stood together for a long time, holding each other in the soft light of the office. When they finally said goodnight and went to their separate rooms, Anna felt lighter. They'd named the truth. Acknowledged what was growing between them. Now they just had to figure out what to do about it. Over the next 2 weeks, their relationship evolved. They were more affectionate in public, but now it didn't feel forced. Charles would take her hand naturally. Pull her close for photos. Brush his fingers across her shoulder when he passed behind her chair. In private, the touches lingered longer. A hand on her waist. Fingers trailing through her hair. Moments standing too close in the kitchen while making dinner. They didn't kiss again. That line remained unspoken but clear. Kissing would make everything too real, too complicated. So they existed in this charged space of almost, of not yet, of waiting. Lily Rose noticed the change too, though she interpreted it in her own way. Mama, do you love Charles? She asked one night during their bedtime routine. Anna's breath caught. Why do you ask? Because you smile different now. Like you're happy inside. I am happy, baby. Is Charles going to be my daddy? The question pierced Anna's heart. She sat on the edge of Lily Rose's bed, choosing words carefully. Charles is special to us. He cares about you very much. But family comes in lots of different shapes. Sometimes it's a mama and her daughter. Sometimes it includes other people who love you. So he's like a family we get to choose? Exactly like that. Good. Lily Rose snuggled into her pillow. I like choosing him. Me too, baby. Me too. The board tour Charles organized was a massive success. Anna attended, watching from the background as employee after employee spoke passionately about working at Harrison Industries. About fair wages, good benefits, opportunities for growth. About feeling valued and respected. The board members were clearly moved. Even the ones Richard had convinced to question Charles's leadership seemed impressed. After the tour, Charles found Anna in the hallway. We did it. I can see it in their faces. They're sold. You did it. I just offered a suggestion. The best suggestion I've gotten in years. He glanced around, then pulled her into a quiet alcove. Anna, thank you. For everything. For believing in me when I was doubting myself. You're easy to believe in. He kissed her then, unable to resist. Quick but intense, full of gratitude and affection and that growing something they were both trying to name. When they broke apart, both were grinning like teenagers. We're terrible at maintaining professional boundaries, Anna laughed. The worst. He kissed her again, slower this time. Maybe we should stop trying. Maybe we should. That weekend, Charles suggested they visit Catherine at her estate. Just the three of them, a casual family visit. Catherine was delighted, sweeping them into her home with her usual warmth. She'd prepared a lunch spread on the back patio overlooking her gardens. I'm so glad you came, she said, pouring lemonade. I don't see enough of you, Charles. And I want to spend time with my new granddaughter. Lily Rose bloomed under Catherine's attention, chattering about school and her friends and the zoo trip. Catherine listened with genuine interest, asking follow-up questions, making Lily Rose feel heard. After lunch, Lily Rose played in the garden while the adults watched from the patio. She's a lovely child, Catherine said. You've done a beautiful job raising her, Anna. Thank you. She's everything to me. I can see that. I can also see that she's thriving now. Having stability, security, a father figure. Catherine glanced at Charles. You're good with her, darling. Natural. She makes it easy, Charles said. Catherine studied them both for a long moment. Can I speak frankly? Of course, grandmother. When you first told me about Anna, I was concerned. The speed of it, the circumstances. I worried you were making a mistake. She held up a hand. Let me finish. But watching you together these past weeks, I see something I never expected. You're happy. Genuinely, deeply happy. Both of you. Anna felt her cheeks heat. We are. Good. Because happiness is rare, and when you find it, you hold on to it with both hands. Catherine's eyes were knowing. Whatever brought you together, whether it was conventional or not, what matters is what you've built. Well, partnership. Family. After they left, driving home through the afternoon sunlight, Charles was quiet. What are you thinking? Anna asked. That my grandmother is very perceptive. She is. She knows something wasn't standard about our marriage. But she doesn't care. He glanced at her. Because what we have now is real. Is it? You know it is. He reached for her hand. Anna, I can't keep pretending this is temporary. 7 more months feels like forever when I already know what I want. Anna's heart stuttered. What do you want? You. This. All of it. He squeezed her hand. I want to make this marriage real. Not because of the contract or the company or any external pressure. But because somewhere along the way I fell in love with you. The words hung in the air of the car. Lily Rose dozed in the back seat, tired from her day in the garden. The highway stretched before them. And Anna's entire world tilted on its axis. You love me? I love you. I love how you put hot sauce on everything. I love your laugh. I love how fiercely you protect Lily Rose. I love your strength and your kindness and your ability to see good in people even when they don't deserve it. He kept his eyes on the road, but his voice was intense. I love you, Anna Bennett Harrison. And I don't want this to end when the contract expires. Anna couldn't speak past the lump in her throat. She turned away, looking out the window as tears streamed down her face. Anna? Please say something. Pull over. What? Pull over. Now. Charles took the next exit, parking in an empty lot. He turned to her, concern written across his face. Anna, if I said too much, if I scared you? She grabbed his face and kissed him. Hard. Deeply. Pouring every ounce of emotion into it. When they broke apart, both were breathless. I love you too, she whispered. I've been trying not to. Trying to protect myself. But I can't help it. I love you, Charles Harrison. His smile could have lit the entire city. He kissed her again, softer this time, reverent. We're going to make this work, he promised. Real marriage. Real family. Real everything. But the contract. Screw the contract. We'll figure it out. He brushed her tears away. All that matters is this. Us. In the back seat, Lily Rose stirred. Mama? Why did we stop? Just needed to talk about something, baby? Okay. She yawned. Can we have pizza for dinner? Charles laughed, the sound pure joy. Pizza sounds perfect. As they drove the rest of the way home, Anna felt something she'd never truly felt before. Hope. Not the desperate hope of survival, but the bright hope of possibility. She'd entered this arrangement to save her daughter. But somehow she'd saved herself too. And found love in the process. Anna woke at 2 a.m. to the sound of crying. She was out of bed instantly, rushing to Lily Rose's room. Her daughter lay curled on her side, hands pressed to her stomach, tears streaming down her face. "Mama, it hurts." "Where, baby? Show me where." Anna's hands were already reaching, checking for fever. Lily Rose's skin was burning. "My tummy. It hurts so bad." Anna's nursing instincts, learned from 5 years of solo parenting, kicked in. She pressed gently on Lily Rose's abdomen. The right side was swollen hot to the touch. When she pressed harder, Lily Rose screamed. "Charles." Anna ran to his room, pounding on the door. "Charles, wake up." He appeared in seconds, hair disheveled, wearing pajama pants and nothing else. "What's wrong?" "It's Lily Rose. I think it's her appendix. We need to get her to the hospital now." Charles didn't hesitate. "I'll get the car. You get her ready." 10 minutes later, they were speeding through empty Seattle streets toward Children's Hospital. Lily Rose lay in Anna's lap, whimpering. Charles drove with focused intensity, breaking every speed limit. "She's going to be okay," he kept saying. "She's going to be fine." But Anna had never been more terrified in her life. This was her baby. Her entire world. Something happened. At the emergency room, Charles carried Lily Rose while Anna handled intake. The staff moved quickly once they heard the symptoms. Within minutes, Lily Rose was in a bed, doctors examining her. "Appendicitis," the ER doctor confirmed. "We need to get her into surgery immediately. It's inflamed but hasn't ruptured yet. If we wait, that could change." "Do it," Anna said. "Whatever she needs." The paperwork was a blur. Consent forms, medical history, insurance information. Charles stood beside her through all of it, his hand a steady presence on her back. They wheeled Lily Rose toward surgery. She reached for Anna, crying. "Mama, I'm scared." "I know, baby. But the doctors are going to fix you. And when you wake up, I'll be right there." Anna kissed her forehead, trying to smile through her tears. "You're the bravest girl I know." "Will Charles be there too?" Charles stepped forward. "I'll be right next to your mom. We're not going anywhere." "Promise?" "I promise." He kissed her hand gently. "You've got this, kiddo." Then they took her away. Anna watched until the double doors closed, separating her from her daughter. Then her legs gave out. Charles caught her, holding her upright. "Come on. Let's sit down." In the surgical waiting room, Anna sat rigid, unable to relax. The minutes dragged. Charles brought her coffee she didn't drink. Held her hand while she stared at nothing. "She's going to be okay," he repeated. "You don't know that." "I do. She's strong. Just like her mother. I can't lose her." Anna's voice cracked. "She's everything. My whole life. If something happens." "It won't." Charles pulled her into his arms. "Listen to me. Lily Rose is in the best hospital in the city with the best surgeons. She caught it before rupture. All the signs point to a good outcome. But there's always risk. Complications. Infections. What if?" "Anna." He tilted her face up. "You can't think like that. You have to believe she's going to be fine." "How? How do I just believe?" "Because the alternative is falling apart, and Lily Rose needs you to be strong when she wakes up." Anna nodded, forcing herself to breathe. Focus. But the fear was overwhelming. This was different from any challenge she'd faced. Money problems, eviction, shut-off utilities, those were all things she could fight, could work around. But this? Her daughter on an operating table? She was powerless. Charles held her through it all. When she cried, he wiped her tears. When she paced, he paced with her. When the panic threatened to consume her, he talked her through breathing exercises. "Tell me about when she was born," he said. "What was it like?" Anna latched onto the distraction. "Terrifying. I was alone. The father had left months before. My mother had passed away 2 years earlier. It was just me in that delivery room with nurses I didn't know. That must have been lonely." "It was. But then they put her in my arms and I wasn't alone anymore." A ghost of a smile touched Anna's lips. She was so tiny. 6 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. And I remember thinking, okay, I can do this. I can be everything she needs. And you have been. Have I? If I'd had better insurance, if we'd lived in a nicer place, maybe they would have caught this sooner. Maybe. Stop. Charles's voice was firm. You did everything right. You brought her to the ER the second you knew something was wrong. You've been a perfect mother, Anna. Don't doubt that now. At 5 a.m., a surgeon in blue scrubs emerged. Anna jumped up. Lily Rose Bennett? Yes. How is she? The surgery went perfectly. We removed her appendix without complication. No rupture, minimal inflammation. She'll be sore for a few days, but she should make a full recovery. The relief was so intense Anna thought she might collapse. Charles's arm tightened around her waist, supporting her. When can I see her? She's in recovery now. Another 30 minutes, then you can go in. Those 30 minutes were the longest of Anna's life. But finally, a nurse led them to a room where Lily Rose lay sleeping, and 4 in her arm, monitors beeping softly. Anna rushed to her side, taking her hand carefully. Baby, I'm here. Lily Rose's eyes fluttered open. Mama? Right here. You did so good. It's all over. It hurts. I know. But the doctors fixed you. You're going to feel better soon. Anna kissed her forehead, her hand. Charles? Lily Rose's voice was sleepy. You stayed. Of course I stayed. He moved to the other side of the bed. I made a promise, remember? You kept it. I always keep my promises. Lily Rose drifted back to sleep. Anna sank into the chair beside the bed, finally allowing herself to relax. Charles sat on the window ledge watching them both. You should rest. I can't. What if she needs me? Then I'll wake you. He came over, gently pushing her hair back. Anna, you've been up all night. You're exhausted. Let me keep watch for a few hours. You're tired too. I'm running on adrenaline. I'll be fine. He kissed the top of her head. Trust me. Anna wanted to argue, but exhaustion pulled at her limbs. She leaned back in the chair and within minutes she was asleep. She woke 3 hours later to sunlight streaming through the windows and Lily Rose's laughter. Her daughter was awake, sipping juice, talking to Charles about something that made her giggle. Mama. Lily Rose smiled when she saw Anna stir. Charles was telling me about when he had his appendix out when he was 10. You did. Mine ruptured though. I was in the hospital for a week. He grinned at Lily Rose. You were much braver than me. I cried the whole time. Really? Really? So you're officially tougher than I am. Lily Rose beamed with pride. Anna watched the exchange, her heart so full it ached. Later, after Lily Rose fell back asleep and the nurse had checked her vitals, Anna and Charles stood in the hallway. You didn't have to do all this, Anna said quietly. Stay all night, entertain her, any of it. The contract doesn't require. Forget the contract. Charles took her hands. That little girl in there? I care about her. Not because I have to. Because I genuinely do. And you? He cupped her face. I hate seeing you in pain. I hate that you were so scared. If I could have taken all of that fear away, I would have. Why are you so good to us? Because you matter to me. Both of you. He leaned his forehead against hers. This isn't fake anymore, Anna. You know that, right? What I feel for you and Lily Rose, it's as real as it gets. Tears spilled down Anna's cheeks. I know. I feel it too. Good. Then when Lily Rose is recovered, when life gets back to normal, let's talk about what happens next. About making this permanent. But the contract has 6 more months. I don't care about the contract. I care about you. His voice was intense. I want you and Lily Rose in my life. Not for a year. Forever. Forever is a long time. Not long enough. He kissed her softly. Just think about it. That's all I'm asking. Anna nodded, unable to form words past the emotion clogging her throat. Lily Rose spent 3 days in the hospital. Charles canceled all his meetings and stayed with them the entire time. He bought books and toys to keep Lily Rose entertained. He convinced the hospital cafeteria to make chicken noodle soup the way Lily Rose liked it. He read stories in funny voices until she fell asleep. And he held Anna when she broke down on the second night, when the fear she'd been suppressing finally surfaced. I don't know what I would have done if I'd lost her, she sobbed into his shoulder. She's my whole world. My reason for everything. I know. And you didn't lose her. She's fine. She's going to be perfect. But what if the next time? Then we'll handle it together. You don't have to carry everything alone anymore, Anna. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. The words sank in slowly. For 5 years, Anna had been the only person standing between her daughter and disaster. Every problem, every crisis, every moment of fear, she'd handled it alone. But now she didn't have to. Charles was here, solid and steady, offering partnership she'd never imagined having. When they finally brought Lily Rose home, the penthouse felt different. Safer somehow. Fuller. Like it had transformed from a temporary arrangement into an actual home. That night, after Lily Rose was settled in her room with the night light on, Anna found Charles on the balcony. "Thank you," she said, "for everything you did this week." "You don't have to thank me." "Yes, I do." She moved closer. "Charles, I've been thinking about what you said. About making this permanent." His entire body went still. "And? I'm scared. Terrified, actually. What if we're making a mistake? What if this is just, I don't know, situational feelings? What if when the pressure is off, when we're not performing anymore, we realize we don't actually work?" "Do you really believe that?" "No." Anna met his eyes. "But I've been wrong before. I thought Lily Rose's father loved me. I was convinced we'd be a family. And then he left without looking back. I'm not him. I know you're not. Logically, I know that. But the fear is still there." She touched his chest, feeling his heartbeat. "I love you. I do. But love isn't always enough." "You're right. It's not." Charles covered her hand with his. "But we have more than love. We have respect, friendship, partnership. We've already proven we can build something real together. The only question is whether we're brave enough to keep building." 6 more months on the contract. Could turn into 6 years. 6 decades. He smiled. Or we could just admit we're already committed and make it official. What about Richard? He's still watching, waiting for us to slip up. Then we don't slip up. Charles turned to face her fully. "Anna, I want you in my life. Permanently. Not because of my company or my grandmother's will or any external reason. Because you make me better. You make me happy. And I want to spend the rest of my life trying to make you happy too." Anna looked at him for a long moment. At his honest eyes. His open expression. The way he stood before her, vulnerable and hopeful and real. She thought about the past weeks. About how he'd shown up for her and Lily Rose over and over. How he'd never made her feel small or less than. How he'd taken her temporary arrangement and transformed it into something beautiful. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay. Let's do it. Let's make this real." She smiled through her tears. "Let's be a family. For real this time." Charles pulled her into his arms, holding her like she was precious. "You won't regret this." "I know I won't. Because falling in love with you was the best accident of my life." He laughed, the sound full of joy and relief. Then he kissed her, deep and sure, sealing the promise they just made to each other. When they finally pulled apart, the city lights sparkled below them. The future stretched ahead, uncertain but bright. They'd started as strangers making a desperate deal. But somewhere along the way, they'd become something neither expected. A real family built on choice and love and hope. And Anna knew, deep in her bones, that this was only the beginning. The morning Catherine arrived unannounced, Anna was making pancakes while Lily Rose did homework at the kitchen counter. Charles had left early for a board meeting. Everything was peaceful, normal, real. Then the doorbell rang. Anna opened it to find Catherine standing there with an overnight bag and a knowing smile. "Surprise, dear. I hope you don't mind. I wanted to spend a few days with my family." "Of course not. Come in." Anna hugged her, trying to hide her sudden panic. Catherine staying meant sharing the master bedroom with Charles. Meant maintaining their performance 24/7. Except it wasn't a performance anymore. Was it? "Grandma Catherine." Lily Rose ran over, throwing herself into Catherine's arms. "There's my sweet girl. How are you feeling? All recovered from your surgery?" "All better. Want to see my scar?" "Maybe after breakfast," Anna laughed. "Catherine, have you eaten?" "Not yet. Those pancakes smell divine." They settled into an easy morning. Catherine admired Lily Rose's homework, asked about school, told stories about Charles as a boy. It felt natural, comfortable. Like having real family over. But in the back of Anna's mind, worry churned. They'd need to be careful. One slip, one inconsistency, and Catherine might realize their marriage hadn't started authentically. That afternoon, while Lily Rose was at a playdate, Catherine asked Anna to join her for tea in the living room. "I want to talk to you about something," Catherine said, pouring from the elegant tea service. "And I need you to be honest with me." Anna's stomach dropped. "Okay. When Charles first told me about you, I had concerns. The timing seemed convenient. Too convenient." Catherine met Anna's eyes directly. "I suspected your marriage might have been arranged to meet the requirements of my son's will." The confession hung in the air. Anna couldn't breathe. "I did some investigation," Catherine continued. "Nothing invasive. Just casual conversations with people. And I learned that you were working as a cleaner when Charles met you. That you were struggling financially. That your marriage happened very quickly." "Catherine, let me finish." She held up a hand. "I could have confronted Charles. could have made trouble. But instead I watched you both. For weeks I observed how you interacted. And you know what I saw? Anna shook her head, unable to speak. I saw two people falling in love. Maybe you started as a business arrangement. I don't know. I don't need to know. Catherine reached over, taking Anna's hand. What matters is what you've become. A real family. Charles is happier than I've ever seen him. You're thriving. Lily Rose is blooming. Whatever brought you together, you've built something genuine. Tears streamed down Anna's face. You knew? This whole time. I suspected. But Anna, here's what I want you to understand. I don't care. My son, Charles's father, put ridiculous requirements in his will. He tried to control from beyond the grave. If you and Charles found a way around that while simultaneously finding each other, then I'm delighted. You're not angry? Disappointed? How could I be? You've given my grandson something I thought he'd never have. Love. Real partnership. Catherine squeezed her hand. That's worth far more than any contract or arrangement. But what about Richard? If he finds out? Richard is a vindictive man who cares more about power than people. He doesn't need to know anything. Catherine smiled. Your secret is safe with me. All I ask is that you continue to make Charles happy. And let him make you happy in return. When Charles came home that evening, Anna pulled him aside immediately. Your grandmother knows. Or suspects. Or. She tried to explain the conversation, the words tumbling over each other. Charles listened calmly. And what did she say? That she doesn't care. That she's happy for us. Anna searched his face. You don't seem surprised. My grandmother is perceptive. I figured she'd work it out eventually. He pulled Anna into his arms. And she's right. What matters is what we are now, not how we started. That night, they shared the master bedroom as planned. Catherine had said goodnight earlier, kissing them both and retreating to the guest room with a satisfied smile. Anna stood in the master bathroom, staring at her reflection. This was the first night she and Charles would actually share a bed. Not for appearances. Not for show. Just because. When she emerged in her pajamas, Charles was already under the covers, reading something on his tablet. You can take the couch, Anna said. I don't mind. I'm not sleeping on the couch. He set the tablet aside. Unless you're uncomfortable? No. I just. She climbed under the covers on her side. This feels like a big step. It is. He turned toward her. But we've already taken bigger ones. We said we loved each other. We committed to making this real. Sleeping in the same bed is just logistics at this point. Anna laughed despite her nerves. You make it sound so practical. I'm a practical guy. They lay there in the darkness, the city lights filtering through the curtains. Anna could feel the warmth radiating from Charles's body, hear his steady breathing. Can I hold you? He asked quietly. Yes. He shifted closer, pulling her against him. Anna curled into his chest, breathing in his familiar scent. This felt right. Safe. Like coming home. Better than the couch, Charles murmured. Much better. Within minutes they were both asleep. Catherine stayed for 3 days. Each night Anna and Charles shared the bed. Each morning they woke up tangled together. The pretense had dissolved entirely. This was their life now. Their reality. On the morning Catherine left, she pulled Anna aside one last time. I changed my son's will 6 months ago, she confessed. I removed the marriage requirement. Charles doesn't know yet. I was waiting to tell him. Anna's eyes widened. Why would you do that? Because the requirement was manipulative and wrong. Charles should inherit based on his merit, not his marital status. Catherine smiled. I'm telling you now because I want you to know. When you and Charles got married, he didn't actually need to. The will had already been changed. Does that mean? It means your marriage was never necessary for his inheritance. Which also means everything you've built together was genuine from the start. Catherine kissed Anna's cheek. Love found you both anyway. Isn't that wonderful? After Catherine left, Anna sat on the couch, processing this information. Charles had married her when he didn't need to. When the requirement had already been removed. Had he known? Had Catherine told him? That evening she asked him directly. Did you know your grandmother changed the will? Charles looked up from his laptop. What? Catherine told me. She removed the marriage requirement 6 months ago. Before we got married. Understanding dawned in his eyes. I had no idea. She never said anything. So you really thought you needed this arrangement? You thought it was necessary? Yes. Absolutely. He closed the laptop. Anna, what are you thinking? I'm thinking that we both entered this for practical reasons. But those reasons didn't actually exist. She stood, pacing. We fell in love based on a premise that was false. The premise was false. But the feelings are real. Charles stood too. Does it matter why we started? We're here now. Together. Building something beautiful. What if Richard finds out? What if he challenges everything? Then we deal with it. But Anna, the foundation of our relationship isn't the contract. Just you and me. What we've chosen to build together. He was right. Anna knew he was right. But the revelation had shaken her. That night, lying in their shared bed, Charles pulled her close. Tell me what you're really scared of. That this is too good to be true. That I'm going to wake up and it'll all disappear. Anna pressed her face into his shoulder. I'm scared of being happy, Charles. Because every time I've been happy before, everything fell apart. I can't promise nothing will ever go wrong. Life doesn't work that way. His hand stroked her back gently. But I can promise I'll be here. Through whatever comes. I'm not going anywhere. You promise? I promise. 2 days later, the corporate crisis hit. Charles came home at 11 p.m., his face grim. Richard made his move. He's called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow. He's planning to present evidence that our marriage is fraudulent. Anna's blood went cold. What evidence? I don't know. But he sounds confident. Charles paced the living room. If the board believes him, they could remove me as CEO. Challenge the inheritance. Everything we've worked for. Then we fight back. With what? If he has proof. He doesn't have proof. Because there is no fraud. Anna stood, blocking his path. Charles, listen to me. When we got married, you believed it was necessary. You thought you were fulfilling the will's requirements. That's not fraud. That's compliance. But our marriage started as a contract. And became real. That's the truth. That's what we tell them. She gripped his arms. We don't lie. We don't hide. We stand up there and tell them exactly what happened. How we met. How we made a deal. How we fell in love anyway. They'll think I'm a fool. They'll think you're human. And humans are messy and complicated, and sometimes we find love in unexpected places. Anna's voice was fierce. I'll stand with you. We'll face them together. Charles stared at her, something shifting in his expression. You'd really do that? Stand in front of the board and tell them everything? Yes. Because it's the truth. And because I'm not ashamed of how we started. Are you? No. He pulled her into his arms. No, I'm not. Not anymore. Then tomorrow we tell them our story. All of it. And we let them decide if love that grows from an arrangement is any less valid than love at first sight. What if they don't understand? Then they're not worthy of leading your company. Anna pulled back to look at him. But I think they will understand. Because everyone wants to believe in second chances. In unexpected happiness. In love that finds a way. That night they didn't sleep. Instead they sat up preparing what they'd say. Organizing their timeline. Getting their story straight. Not to lie. But to present the truth in a way that honored both the complexity of how they started and the beauty of what they'd become. As dawn broke over the city, Anna looked at Charles across their notes and coffee cups. We're going to be okay, she said. Whatever happens tomorrow, we're going to be okay. How do you know? Because we have each other. And we have the truth. That's enough. Charles reached across the table, taking her hand. I love you. I love you too. Anna squeezed back. Now let's go save your company. The board meeting was set for 10 a.m. As Anna dressed in a bright blue dress and checked her appearance one final time, she felt strangely calm. This was it. The moment everything could fall apart or solidify forever. And she was ready to fight for what they'd built. Because sometimes love started in unconventional ways. But that didn't make it any less real. The boardroom of Harrison Industries occupied the entire 50th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered panoramic views of Seattle, but Anna couldn't appreciate the scenery. Her focus was on the 12 people seated around the massive conference table, all watching her and Charles with varying degrees of curiosity and skepticism. Richard sat at the far end, a smug smile playing at his lips. He'd orchestrated this meeting, and he clearly believed he'd already won. Thank you all for coming on short notice, Richard began. I've called this emergency session because I have information that affects the legitimacy of Charles's inheritance and his position as CEO. One of the board members, an older woman named Patricia Sullivan, leaned forward. This is highly unusual, Richard. Can you get to the point? Of course. Richard stood, pressing a button on a remote. A screen descended from the ceiling. I've spent the past months investigating my brother's sudden marriage. And I've discovered some fascinating details. Anna's heart pounded, but she kept her expression neutral. Charles's hand found hers under the table. Richard clicked to the first slide. It showed a timeline. Charles met Anna Bennett on May 15th. They were married on May 17th. 2 days later. Doesn't that strike anyone as suspiciously fast? People have whirlwind romances, another board member, Marcus Chin, said. So what? So this. Richard clicked to the next slide, showing financial records. On May 18th, Charles paid off $35,000 in Anna's debts. Rent, utilities, medical bills. All cleared in a single transaction. Murmurs rippled through the room. Anna felt heat creeping up her neck, but she refused to look away. On May 19th, Richard continued, he enrolled her daughter in an exclusive private school. Full tuition paid annually. On May 20th, he added both Anna and her daughter to his health insurance as dependents. This proves nothing except that Charles is generous, Patricia said, but her voice carried doubt. Doesn't it seem like payment? Richard's smile widened. Payment for a service rendered? That's enough. Charles stood, his voice cutting through the room. You want to know the truth? Fine. I'll tell you. All of it. Anna stood too, moving beside him. United. When I met Anna, I was desperate, Charles began. My father's will required me to be married within 60 days of his death to inherit control of this company. I had 48 hours left. I was out of options and out of time. The board members leaned forward, listening intently. Anna worked for the cleaning company that services this building. She overheard a private phone call. She learned about my situation. And I, seeing an opportunity, offered her a deal. Pretend to be my wife for 1 year in exchange for $1 million. Shocked silence filled the room. Richard's smile turned triumphant. So you admit it, Richard said. Your marriage was fraud. A business transaction designed to circumvent the will's requirements. Let him finish, Patricia commanded. Charles looked at Anna, drawing strength from her presence. Yes, we started with a contract. A marriage of convenience. But something neither of us expected happened over the following months. We fell in love. How convenient, Richard sneered. It wasn't convenient at all. Anna spoke up, her voice clear and strong. It was terrifying. I was a single mother struggling to survive. Charles offered me a way out and I took it. I'm not ashamed of that. When you're drowning, you don't refuse the life preserver because it's not pretty enough. This is exactly what I'm saying, Richard gestured at them. She married him for money. This isn't a real marriage. You're wrong. Anna turned to face the board directly. Yes, I accepted Charles's offer because I was desperate. But I fell in love with him because of who he is. The way he treats my daughter. The way he treats his employees. The kindness he shows when no one's watching. Her voice strengthened. I've learned that love doesn't always start with fireworks and romance. Sometimes it starts with two broken people helping each other. And sometimes that grows into something beautiful. Charles picked up the narrative. I could have married anyone to meet the will's requirement. I could have found someone in my social circle, someone appropriate and convenient. But I chose Anna. Even before I knew I loved her, I respected her. And over time that respect became admiration, became affection, became love. Love. Richard laughed bitterly. You're asking us to believe this fairy tale? That you just happened to fall in love with the woman you hired to play your wife? Yes, Charles said simply. Because that's exactly what happened. Patricia stood. Richard, you've shown us that they married quickly and that Charles helped Anna financially. But none of that proves fraud. People help their spouses all the time. The timing? The timing shows that Charles was under pressure. That doesn't invalidate his feelings or his marriage. Patricia looked at Charles and Anna. I've known Charles for 15 years. I've never seen him happier or more focused. If this marriage started unconventionally, so what? It's real now. That's obvious to anyone paying attention. I agree, Marcus said. Charles, you should have been transparent with us from the beginning. But I understand why you weren't. Your fathers will put you in an impossible position. An impossible position he exploited, Richard argued. He found a loophole. He paid someone to marry him. That's fraud. Actually, Anna said quietly, it's not. Everyone turned to her. Catherine Harrison changed the will 6 months before Charles and I got married. She removed the marriage requirement entirely. Charles inherited based on his merit, not his marital status. The room erupted. Richard's face went white. Charles looked at Anna in shock. How do you know that? Richard demanded. Catherine told me herself last week. Anna pulled out her phone, showing the text Catherine had sent that morning with explicit permission to share this information. She wanted us to know that Charles's inheritance was never dependent on our marriage. Which means there was no fraud. Charles married me believing he needed to, but he didn't. Our marriage was his choice. Patricia began to laugh. So you're saying Charles married Anna for love after all? I'm saying he married her thinking it was necessary for the company, but it wasn't. And then he stayed married to her because he fell in love. Anna met Richard's furious gaze. Your entire case is built on a premise that's false. Richard slammed his hand on the table. This doesn't change anything. He still lied. He still manipulated. He adapted to circumstances his father created, Patricia interrupted. And frankly, Richard, I'm tired of your attempts to undermine your brother. This board meeting is over. You can't just. I can and I am. Patricia looked around the table. All in favor of ending this inquiry and reaffirming Charles Harrison as CEO. 9 hands went up. Only Richard and one of his allies abstained. Motion carries. Patricia smiled at Charles and Anna. Though I do think you two need to invite us all to a proper wedding reception. If I'm going to defend your marriage to shareholders, I want cake. The tension broke. Several board members laughed. Charles pulled Anna into a hug. Richard stood abruptly. This isn't over. Actually, it is, Charles said, still holding Anna. You've played your cards. You've lost. Now either you accept it and work with me or you leave the company. Your choice. You can't fire me. I can with board approval. And right now, I think I'd get it unanimously. Charles's voice was steel. You've spent months trying to sabotage me instead of focusing on the business. That's not what Harrison Industries needs. Richard looked around the table, seeing no support. His jaw clenched. Fine. But don't expect me to make this easy. I never did. After Richard stormed out, the board members gathered around Charles and Anna, offering congratulations and support. Patricia pulled Anna aside. That took courage, she said. Standing up here and telling the truth. Most people would have folded under Richard's accusations. I wasn't about to let him destroy what Charles built. Anna smiled. Besides, I meant what I said. Our story might be unconventional, but it's honest. The best stories usually are. Patricia winked. And I really do want to attend a proper wedding. I love a good party. In the car afterward, Charles was quiet. Anna watched him, noting the tension in his shoulders. You okay? I still can't believe you stood up there and defended us like that. He looked at her. You were magnificent. I was terrified. You didn't show it. He reached for her hand. Anna, you saved me today. Not just my job or my company. You saved me. You stood beside me when you could have walked away. Why would I walk away? I love you. I know. And I love you. Which is why. He reached into his jacket pocket, pulling out a small box. Anna's breath caught. This isn't about the contract or the company or anything else, Charles said. This is just about you and me. Anna Bennett, will you really marry me? Not a courthouse signing. Not a business arrangement. A real wedding with real vows and real promises. Will you be my wife for the rest of our lives? He opened the box, revealing a simple but beautiful diamond ring. Anna's tears came fast. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Charles slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly. Then he kissed her, deep and sure and full of promise. When they broke apart, both were smiling. We should probably pick a date, Anna said. Tomorrow? Maybe give me a little more time to plan than you did last time. She laughed. But soon. I want to marry you for real. For real, Charles echoed. I like the sound of that. That night they told Lily Rose. She was thrilled, asking a million questions about the wedding, about flowers and cake and whether she could wear a fancy dress. You can wear the fanciest dress we can find, Charles promised. Because you're going to be our flower girl. Really? Lily Rose's eyes went wide. I get to throw flowers? As many as you want. After Lily Rose was asleep, Anna and Charles sat on the balcony planning their future. Not just the wedding but everything beyond. Where they'd travel, how they'd grow the company, what values they'd teach Lily Rose. I want more children, Charles said suddenly. Someday. If you do. I do. Anna leaned against him. I want Lily Rose to have siblings. A big, loud, chaotic family. Chaotic sounds perfect. They sat in comfortable silence, the city lights twinkling below. Anna thought about how far she'd come. From the woman with shut-off water and eviction notices to this. A penthouse, a family, a future full of promise. Thank you, she said quietly. For what? For taking a chance on me. For seeing past my circumstances to who I really was. Thank you for taking a chance on me. Charles kissed her temple. For agreeing to a crazy plan and then turning it into something real. We make a good team. The best team. And sitting there in the cool night air, Anna knew it was true. They'd started as strangers, become partners, and grown into something beautiful. A real family built on love and hope and the courage to keep choosing each other. No matter what came next, they'd face it together. 3 months later, Anna stood in a private room at the Four Seasons Hotel, staring at her reflection in a full-length mirror. The wedding dress was cream-colored, elegant and simple, hugging her curves before flowing into a subtle train. Her hair was swept up in an intricate style, small white flowers woven through the braids. She looked like a bride. A real bride. Not someone playing a part, but a woman about to marry the man she loved. Mama, you look like a princess. Lily Rose twirled in her flower girl dress, a confection of pale green tulle that she'd insisted on because it matches my eyes. You look like a princess too, baby. Catherine entered, elegant in burgundy lace. Everyone's seated. We're ready whenever you are. Anna took a deep breath. I'm ready. The ceremony was intimate. 50 guests in a sun-filled ballroom. White flowers everywhere. A string quartet playing softly. The board members were there, along with some of Charles's business associates. But also, Mrs. Chin, Anna's old neighbor. The nurses from the hospital where Lily Rose had surgery. People from both their lives, witnesses to this new beginning. Charles waited at the altar in a navy suit, looking nervous and happy and absolutely perfect. When Anna appeared at the back of the room, his face transformed. The smile that spread across it made her heart skip. Lily Rose went first, throwing petals with enthusiastic abandon. Then Anna walked alone, no one to give her away because she was giving herself freely. By choice. By love. When she reached Charles, he took her hands and whispered, "You're beautiful. You're not so bad yourself." The officiant smiled at them. We're gathered today to witness Anna and Charles as they commit to each other, not for convenience or obligation but for love. They've asked to share their own vows. Charles went first, his voice steady but emotional. Anna, when I met you, I thought I was offering you a business deal. But you gave me something I didn't know I was missing. A home. You've taught me that strength isn't always loud, that love can grow in unexpected places, and that family is something you build, not something you're born with. I promise to honor you, support you, and choose you every single day for the rest of my life. Anna's turn. She'd written and rewritten her vows a dozen times. But standing here, looking into Charles's eyes, the perfect words came naturally. Charles, I was drowning when you found me. You threw me a lifeline, expecting nothing in return except a year of pretending. But you gave me so much more. You gave me security, yes. But you also gave me respect, partnership, and love. You showed my daughter what a good man looks like. You made me believe I deserved happiness. Her voice cracked. I promise to stand beside you through every challenge. To be your partner in all things. To love you not because I have to, but because I choose to. Today and always. By the power vested in me, the officiant said, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Again. But this time for real. Laughter rippled through the guests. Charles pulled Anna close and kissed her, and it felt like the first time and forever all at once. The reception was joyful chaos. Lily Rose danced with everyone, her green dress spinning. Catherine made a toast about second chances and unexpected blessings. Patricia Sullivan, true to her word, declared the cake worth the wait. During the first dance, Charles held Anna close as they swayed to a song about finding home. Any regrets? He asked. Not a single one. You. Only that I didn't meet you sooner. We met exactly when we needed to. Anna rested her head on his shoulder. I don't think we would have worked before. We needed to be exactly who we were, struggling and desperate, to appreciate what we found. Wise words. I'm a wise woman. Later in the evening, Richard appeared. Anna tensed, but Charles just squeezed her hand. I'm not here to cause trouble, Richard said stiffly. I came to congratulate you. And to apologize. Anna exchanged a shocked look with Charles. I've spent months being angry, Richard continued. Jealous. I thought I deserved the company. But watching you these past months, seeing how you lead, how you care about the employees, I realized something. Father chose you for a reason. Not because of a wife or a will. Because you're better at this than I ever would be. Richard. Charles started. Let me finish. I'm not going to suddenly become your best friend. We're too different for that. But I can be a colleague. A partner. Someone who supports the company instead of sabotaging it. He offered his hand. If you'll have me. Charles shook it. I will. But any more attempts to undermine me, and I'm gone. I know. Richard almost smiled. Besides, your wife is terrifying when she's defending you. I don't want to face that again. Anna laughed despite herself. I'll take that as a compliment. After Richard left, Catherine found them. I'm proud of you both. For building something real. For fighting for it. Thank you for changing the will, Anna said. For giving us the chance to figure out our feelings without the pressure. Oh, I had faith. Catherine winked. I saw how Charles looked at you from the very beginning. The will was just insurance. As the reception wound down, Anna found herself on the hotel balcony, looking out at the city. Charles joined her, wrapping his arms around her waist from behind. What are you thinking about? How different my life is from a year ago. How I had no hope, no future to look forward to. And now I have everything. So do I. He kissed her neck. Thank you for taking a chance on my crazy offer. Thank you for making it. She turned in his arms. Where do we go from here? Anywhere we want. We have the rest of our lives to figure it out. He smiled. Though I was thinking we should take Lily Rose to Disneyland for our honeymoon. She's been dropping hints. Subtle ones. Anna laughed. She drew pictures of Mickey Mouse on every surface in the house. Then Disneyland it is. Family honeymoon. Perfect. They stood together, the party continuing behind them, their daughter laughing inside, their future stretching bright and hopeful ahead. Anna thought about the night Charles had offered his proposition. How terrified she'd been. How desperate. How it had felt like accepting defeat to take his money. But it hadn't been defeat. It had been courage. The courage to accept help when it was offered. The courage to let someone see her struggle and offer support. The courage to believe she deserved better. And look where that courage had led. To love, to family, to a life beyond anything she'd imagined. I love you, she told Charles. Thank you for choosing me. I love you too. And I'd choose you in every life, every timeline, every version of reality. He kissed her softly. You're my forever Anna Harrison. Forever sounds perfect. Epilogue 1 year later. Anna stood in the Harrison Industries lobby, no longer an employee but the CEO's wife. She was here for the annual employee appreciation event that Charles had instituted shortly after the board meeting. Miss Anna. A young woman in a cleaning uniform approached tentatively. Can I talk to you? Of course. I heard about how you met Mr. Harrison. That you used to work for the cleaning company. The woman's eyes were hopeful. I'm trying to save money for school. Do you think it's possible? To change your circumstances like you did? Anna saw herself in this woman's face. The hope mixed with exhaustion. The dreams fighting against reality. Yes, she said firmly. It's possible. It's hard and it takes courage, but it's possible. Never stop believing you deserve better. Never stop fighting for your future. Thank you. The woman smiled. You give people like me hope. After she walked away, Charles appeared at Anna's side. Making inspirational speeches? Just telling the truth. She leaned against him. Should we start a scholarship program? For employees who want to go back to school. I'll have someone draft a proposal by Monday. They watched the party together. Employees laughing, families mingling, children playing. The company Catherine's son had built and Charles was transforming into something better. Something that valued people over profits. Lily Rose ran up, now 6 and growing so fast it made Anna's heart ache. Mama, Charles, come dance. They joined her on the makeshift dance floor. Lily Rose spun between them, giggling. Other families danced nearby. The energy was joyful, hopeful. This was what they'd built together. Not just a marriage or a family, but a life based on kindness, second chances, and the belief that people deserve dignity and opportunity. As they danced, Anna caught Charles's eye. He mouthed, I love you. She mouthed it back, knowing he could read the truth in her smile. They'd started with a desperate bargain in a CEO's office. But they'd built something beautiful, a real family, a real marriage, and a real future. And every single day, Anna woke up grateful that she'd been brave enough to say yes when Charles Harrison offered her a chance to change her life. Because sometimes the best things come from the most unexpected beginnings. Sometimes love finds you when you're not looking for it. And sometimes pretending to be someone's wife for 1 year turns into forever.